Alright, for those that don't know, the starters under the intake on the Titans and the Armada are similar to the Cadillac North Star V8 engine. Pull this bolt, and there's two clips basically you pull up, and the engine cover will pop off. And there's your intake. This is your intake mount. These are the runners. Your valve covers down there. But the starting motor is up under. It's up under here. Believe it or not, it looks very, very complicated, but it's in my opinion, it's not. You just pull those bolts, the ones on this side, the ones on this side. If you don't have the fuel injection line disconnect tool, you gotta depressurize the system. No, if you don't have the tool, you don't have to pressurize the system. That's how I did it last time. I just pulled the fuel injectors out. But this time I do have the tool, so I'm going to depressurize the fuel system, and I'm not going to remove the fuel injectors. But I'm about to get in it. System, well, not bled it, but depressurized it. What you do is, in the fuse panel that's under the hood, you pull. Coming from this way, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth fuse, it's a 15 amp. That's for the fuel pump. Pull that fuse and crank the engine over a few times, and if it does start, it'll start and stall in a few seconds. Mine didn't even start. I just cranked, and that should have relieved the pressure. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is disconnect this right here. That's a high pressure fuel line connection. I already did a how to swap out your starting motor. Of course, you disconnect the high pressure fuel line. You remove the clips for each of your injector, the electrical connection. There's 5 bolts holding the intake on each side. It's one back there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The last one is right there. I don't know if you can see it. See, that's it right there. That's the last one. Once I pull that one out, it's the last one on this side. Then I gotta unclip these and pull the 5 bolts. Of course, unclip the harness. That's simple stuff. Of course, the PCV valves and the breathers, you just, of course, pull those off along with the intake duct. Just basically get everything out of your way. And 5 bolts on this side, 5 bolts on this side, and it just comes right on up. If you follow the manual will tell you to drain some of the coolant out, because this is actually preheated with coolant. I don't do that. What I do is I disconnect it from this, and I leave this on the vehicle. All right. Everything basically removed, and of course you remove the 4 Allen head bolts that hold the throttle body onto the intake. And again, instead of draining any coolant and disconnecting the lines, I just move it out of the way. This, no strain, just keep the hoses up, pulled out of the way. And I'm about to lift this off, and once this comes off, you'll see the starter. How easy this comes off. All 10 bolts are out. Fuel injector connections are disconnected. Wiring harness clips are disconnected. Those are the messages coming in. Ignore that noise. You just grab this, and that easy. Intake is out. Let me show you what the bottom looks like. That's the bottom. These are where the fuel injectors spray. 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 4 for a total of 8. And that's the top of the engine. That bugs down there, and that's the doggone starting motor right there. These are your knock sensors. So if you ever have to change your knock sensors, now you know where they're at. Oh boy, It's so much work just to do a doggone starter motor. Thank you, Nissan. Nissan Armada owners and Infiniti QX5600s have never seen your valves. Those are your intake valves right there. Of course, you got 4 valves, so you got 2 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. But those are your valves. That's the other side. I'm gonna clean them up a little bit. Is I block each of the intake ports with a rag, paper towel, whatever. I'm telling you, do this. Do not skip this. You might tell yourself, hey, I'll be as careful as I could be. Whatever. I'm telling you, don't skip this step. A long time ago, I dropped a small screw in a transmission as I was putting it back together. I mean, the work was almost done. Everything was going good. And that freaking screw fell out my hand and fell into the transmission. So again, I was finishing up the work. Then I had to tear the whole transmission apart. Just cheap insurance, rags, paper towels, whatever. Push them in there. Rags are better than paper towel, actually. And before you get to working with screws and stuff and small stuff above your intake ports. All right. The starter motor that I just took out, that's the one I'm about to put in. That's where it goes. And that's the starter motor all prepared. Alright, just fired it up with the new starter motor installed. Well, the new rebuilt starter motor installed. So I'm going to take that one back and get my core charge. Get my money back. But let's see how long this one lasts.